31 tug. When we're doing this for you, if you're looking at boats, what we do is give you either a Zoom meeting like this or a FaceTime, and we're much more interactive with you going through the boat and opening every door and cubby and looking under every hatchboard. So you get a really good understanding of what that boat is without being on the boat. So I know it's going to be different. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for everybody to get used to it. But it's something that really keeps the COVID spread down. We don't have a lot of people going on boats and spreading the disease. And, you know, we know that there's asymptomatic people that could have the problems and not even know it. So we definitely keep the number of people on the boats down. We also wipe the boats down both before and after we show the boat. So we're really taking care of cleanliness. We do wear masks when we're on the boat, as well as gloves. Today, you'll see me on the boat without them because I'm talking to you guys, but our normal course of business is masks and gloves, so that we really keep that spread down. So once we give you a live walkthrough on our website, on every boat on our website, we have a 3D virtual tour, and you can actually go through that boat on our website and tour yourself through that boat. And these 3D virtual tours are really good. The photography is great. They really show well. And a lot of times we'll also have a Zoom meeting where we're using the virtual 3D model to show you guys through the boat, especially if you have any questions. Geli, you on now or no? Okay, sorry. So really focused on getting you guys to see this boat the way it really is. We also do professional photography on the boat, and you've probably seen on our site how good the photography is. That is the actual representation of the boat. We spend a lot of time and effort getting these boats ready for you so they're nice and clean, and we take the professional photography so you get a real clear view of what these boats are. And then we do videos. We do walkthrough videos. So every one of our boats will have a walkthrough video, and you can just go through that walkthrough video and go through it over and over again and listen to me or listen to one of my sales guys talk about what the boat is. So between all those things, we're hoping and thinking that you guys will get a real clear view of the boat. And that way, rather than having to go see 10 boats, you sit at home, especially now with the shelter in place. You sit at home and you go through these boats, and you'll find one or two of these boats that you really like. And then once you really narrow it down, we want you to make offers so we know that you can get in contract on the boat. If somebody's asking $250 and you're only willing to pay $150, there's no sense for you to go down to the boat and worry about the spread of this coronavirus. So we want you to focus, get in on a boat, make an offer, get it negotiated, and then we'll take you on the boat. If you don't like the boat at that point, something's wrong that you didn't expect, that you didn't see through the walkthrough, you can reject the boat for any reason. So it makes sure that you get to know the boat through the virtual tours and virtual showings, and that we know that you can actually buy the boat. And we've seen that a number of times, that people, the buyer and the seller, just can't come to an agreement on the price, and then it doesn't do anybody any good to be doing the walking through these boats. It just doesn't help. So That's our protocol on selling these boats and getting you guys to see these boats. Do we have any questions from the audience? Yeah, I'm gonna put Geli in this seat. She's gonna talk a little bit more about boat showing and social distancing. So yeah, say hi to Geli.
Good morning, everyone. Morning, everyone. Really excited to be hosting the first annual virtual boat show with Atomic Tuna Yachts and Farallon Yachts. Since COVID-19, we've been working very hard to ensure that all parties, sellers, listers are safe. So we put a protocol in place so that we could continue on with the business, but by doing Zoom showings, which you heard Wayne talk about. So it's very simple. We just send you a Zoom meeting through your phone or computer. You can join us, and we have a detailed discussion about the particulars of the boat, like you just saw on the Ranger 31 that Wayne walked through. But then you have an opportunity to ask questions for electrical, engine, horsepower, type of leather seats, rigging, etc. Get to look at the chain plates. So you get a very detailed overview. The other thing that we require right now with the COVID-19 is that everyone wear gloves and face masks. We wipe down the boats after every showing. If after the first virtual showing or live showing, you are still interested in seeing the boat, then you can come down and see that boat in person. The good thing is the boat yards are still open. We're still able to do haul outs and surveys. So it takes a little bit of coordination because the yards are backed up, the captains are backed up, surveyors are backed up, but the good news is that we're able to move forward. So for those of you that are sellers, don't worry, we're still moving the boats. It's actually very, very busy right now. Any questions? In the past, I guess it's been about a month and a half, we've had probably about 15 showings, wouldn't you say, Wayne?
Oh yeah, at least 15 showings, virtual showings. And we have 5 boats in contract right now from these virtual showings. So it's really been working well. People are really liking it, and you know, it's keeping that social distance. So yeah, it's a good thing, and we're seeing this throughout not only the boating industry, but real estate as well. We work with somebody from Lodi that does our photography, and he's into the real estate, and his real estate virtual showings has jumped 4 times. So I think it's a trend we're seeing for everybody with coping with social distancing. And I'm not a doctor, but I kind of have a good idea of what's going on. And you know, I look at this COVID-19 problem, and I think it's going to be with us for a while until we get a vaccine. So we have to find out and do things different than we have been for a lot of different reasons, in a lot of different ways, not only just for the social distancing for COVID, but we're going to see this continue after the COVID is taken care of, and we have a vaccine. So it's something of concern for all of us. We here at Atomic Tuna feel that we've been prepping for this for the last 2 years. We've always been doing these 3D models. We've always been doing professional photography, and we've always done videos, and now we're doing more and more of those. So I think you're going to find that not just with us, but with other yacht brokers, that you'll get more and more of this virtual showings and not getting you on boats as much. And then why are we doing this? We're doing it so we can go out and enjoy the boat. And what better place to social distance than on a boat with your family? You got to be a little careful. You don't want to have big crowds on your boat, but certainly with your family, get out on that boat and go enjoy it. San Francisco Bay has not closed down. We're still open. You can still get out there and go out on your boat. Coast Guard is not enforcing any stay at home on your own boat. Of course, if you go out on a big party boat and there's 50 people, that's a different story. But charter companies with a big passenger count, they're not going out anyways, but you can on your own boat. And we're going to talk, I think tomorrow, on different ways for you to get out on the water. So not just with buying a boat, but other ways as well. So that'll be an interesting talk that we're going to have tomorrow.
So maybe one of the things we should talk about, Wayne, is the number of people when you're going through the purchasing process today in comparison to 3 months ago. For when you're doing surveys, we're limiting the number of people on the boat for the survey, and same with the haul outs as well. It's just because it's a small boat and it's hard to keep the 6 feet social distancing in place. So we're asking everyone to allow the surveyors to be on the boat themselves to do the survey. Minimize the number of people that are coming out for the sea trials itself. So you plus another person, so 2 people total plus a captain. For the most part, everybody's been very understanding and wants to ensure their safety as well as the safeties as others. So it's been a relatively smooth process, and we'll be sure to communicate to you the protocols of the surveyors, captains, and boat yards as well. So you're well prepared before you show up for your haul out and sea trial.
Yeah, that's really important. And also on these sea trials, that's probably our number one concern on keeping people safe on the sea trials. Of course, masks and gloves. And then it's going to be a captain, the buyer, and the salesperson. So if we can limit it to 3 people and keep our distance, then we'll be able to get these sea trials in. Of course, on a power boat, it's usually a little bit easier to do that. Sailboats, we have to be a little cautious on it, but we're getting through it, and it seems to be working really well. Geli, you've got a few surveys and sea trials set up for next week?
Yeah, I have 2 surveys and sea trials set up for May 5th and 7th on a Tiana 48 deck salon and a Nordic 42, and then the following week on a Catalina 36 Mark II.
Yeah, nice. And the yards are open?
Yards are open. Typically the yards are open Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for the brokerages. So we call well in advance to make sure that we can get on their schedule. But they're letting us know on a case-by-case basis, since this is a fluid situation, what their protocols are, and we're communicate that to the surveyors and buyers as well.
Yeah, so then you have one person bring the boat down to the yard?
Yes. And
then they do the haul out, and buyers allowed to be there at the haul out?
Buyers are allowed to be there at the haul out. The yard personnel will come out and speak with you, so you don't have to go into the office, because they do have people working in the office, so they want to minimize the interaction. So they'll come out and meet with the buyers and the surveyors. So you're more than welcome to be at the yard, and then once the haul out and haul and hang is completed, then we'll go on our way on the survey or sea trial.
So since you're outside and it's easy to keep that 6 foot social distance, are we requiring masks?
We are.
Yeah.
Masks and gloves all the time.
Masks and gloves all the time, even on the surveys when you're outside.
Because you imagine it's very easy when you're talking, you cross paths, you're in close proximity at times. We want to make sure that people are protected at all times.
Yeah, no, that's great. And what yards are open?
KKMI in Richmond, Grand Marina here in Alameda.
Swenson's Bay Marine?
Swenson's Bay Marine is open.
Is KKMI over
I believe
in
KKMI and
in
Sausalito is open now
Sausalito is
too.
open. Yeah, they're all on a reduced workforce, but they are open. And if you do buy a boat after the survey, you can still get work done at the yards. They're actually encouraging work, so you know they want to try to keep their employees employed and making some money. It's a really difficult time for them. I know one of the yards was shut down right at the very beginning for a few days, but they came back on. They were deemed essential businesses, specifically for the Coast Guard, and they opened back up. So yeah, they have their protocols. Also, everybody, of course, is wearing face masks and gloves. They don't want you in the office unless you need to go in there to you know, either pay or get set up. So they minimize that. But yeah, they're all really being professional about it and abiding by you know, the social distancing. So
And I'd say the majority of surveyors are out working as well. So we haven't had any challenges securing surveyors.
yeah, and the surveyors, they are requesting, and not just requesting, but it's pretty much a demand that they are the only ones on the boat doing the survey. Now, you can still call them up and talk to them. They'll go through the survey with you. You know, they're trying to stay healthy and really do a thorough investigation of the boat. In fact, some of the surveyors have told me that they feel they do a better survey when they're doing it without a buyer there, because they can focus more on the boat. So, you know, we have the surveyors on board and they can go do their things. Same thing with the mechanical surveys, you know, the engine surveys. They are still doing surveys. They are also requesting that they're the only ones on the boat. Rig surveyors, they're up in the air anyways. And you know how riggers are, they're a little bit hard to nail down, but the riggers, you know, they'll just go up the mast and they're social distancing 100 or 60 feet up the mast. So good place for them. But yeah, we're still plowing ahead with doing surveys and getting these boats sold and closed, and you know, it's all good. The finance people are working, they're busy. Interest rates are good. The title companies are doing really well, and they're still in business. So I think, you know, this industry is still, you know, cruising along, and we've actually been busier in the last 2 or 3 weeks than we have in 2 or 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm. Actually, there's one interesting story, Wayne. I think you were a part of it. We did back to the Zoom meetings. It's new for everybody. It's new for us. But we had the listing agent for a co-brokerage. The listing agent was in Maryland, Chris White Designs. The buyer is in San Jose. We are here in Alameda, and the boat was physically in Seattle. So through the 4 different locations, we were able to coordinate a Zoom showing of Atlantic 48. Very detailed. There was an hour Zoom showing, much easier than flying up there, especially with the COVID-19 and looking at the boat. You know, as a buyer, you may not be happy with the boat. So, you know, you're flying in a questionable time frame. You don't know a lot about the boat. So this is a great way to be able to learn more about the boat with the listing agent. Sometimes the owners are involved. And then the selling agent as well.
Yeah, that's great. So that is a good example of the virtual showings, and that ended up. Well, tell us what happened with that.
So we did. An offer was submitted on that boat, and we went through the negotiations with the buyer and seller. Unfortunately now, because of circumstances, we did not go through with the purchase of the boat, just because some of the economical concerns in the environment today. But in the future, I know there will be a boat for that particular buyer, probably in that same location, because he's really set on those Atlantic 48s. And so I'm looking forward to the next steps once we get past this a little bit further with this COVID-19.
So the buyer ended up and the seller not agreeing on a price.
Correct.
So that was an unfortunate outcome. They couldn't agree on a price, but you didn't have the buyer and the salesperson from here flying up to Seattle and the broker from Maryland flying all the way out here for something where they couldn't even agree on a price.
Right. And the seller lives in New Zealand.
And the seller lives in New Zealand. So, it's really advantageous to be able to do these virtual showings. So rather than having everybody go up there and then decide that, oh yeah, I want the boat, but we can't agree on a price, just don't go and you negotiate prior. So, so really good outcome on that, even though that boat didn't get into contract. It really was, an eye opener on how this whole process works. So we're happy to do a virtual showing on any boat. I had a co-op on a boat over at one of the local brokers that I went through, and that went really well. That'll probably result in an offer on that boat. The buyer on that boat is in Denver. So he's never been on the boat, but, I spent a lot of time with him. In fact, I think I spent 2 hours with him on that boat. That was a 41-foot sailboat. And we just went through every nook and cranny on that boat. So, yeah, it's definitely a good way to go. Let's talk a little about what we're seeing with the market right now. So if you're a seller, should you be putting your boat up for sale? And if you're a buyer, what's the current market? And it's kind of interesting. We thought that going into this COVID-19 shutdown, that it would basically shut down the people buying and selling boats. But I think it's done exactly the opposite. I think people are sitting at home, surfing on the internet. They get to atomic-tuna.com website. They look at the virtual tours on there, and they're thinking, I've been working hard my whole life, and here I am sitting at home, cooped up in my house with this stay-at-home order, and I should really be out boating. So we're seeing a big uptick on interest, especially mid-price and up cruising boats, sailing cruising boats. We're getting a huge amount of interest in these boats. And I think it's because people are sitting around saying, I need a boat. I should be out boating. I don't know if you guys have read the book Blue Mind, but you should. And it's about why when you are around water or in water or enjoying water, you feel better emotionally, physically, mentally, and everything's better when you're on, in, or near water. And that's us, right? I couldn't survive if I couldn't look out my window and see the water.
Well, it's like the same thing when we're going home. Wayne and I both are liveaboards and happen to be in the same harbor. And you can have a crazy, stressful day, and you go home down Powell Street. Our backdrop is the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco city skyline. It's just gorgeous, and automatically that blood pressure decreases. You go into your little humble abode and have a cocktail that Wayne was talking about and relax.
Yeah, so Blue Mind, my wife was not a boater, and I dragged her onto a boat, convinced her to live on a boat. You don't want to know what I had to do to convince her to do that. That's a story for another time. But I asked her, after we were there for a while. In fact, she gave me 6 months to see how it went. So 6 years later, we're still living aboard. And I asked her, you know, how she felt, and she said, you know, when I turn that turn onto Powell Street and I see the water and I see the beautiful San Francisco sunset and Golden Gate Bridge, she goes, everything slows down, everything's better. So that's why we're here. And with the COVID issue, you know, let's get out on these boats. And so if you're a buyer, no question, you know, it's time to buy a boat. If you're a seller, the market's strong. If your boat's been sitting there and you're done with the boat for whatever reason, you know, your dog's too old to climb on the boat, your kids have left, you are no longer living in the area. There's 100 different reasons why you're not using that boat. Put it on the market. We'll help you. We'll get it ready. We'll market that boat. We'll get it sold for you. It's a great time to sell a boat, right? Geli?
Right, it's perfect. I was listening to you talk, and it reminded me of one of my current boats that I have in contract. The buyer is planning on going cruising. So he contacted us right at the beginning of the COVID-19 stay at home. So he was the very first person that I actually did the Zoom showing with. So there's a lot of interaction. He actually helped me learn how to do it better because I can't see what he's seeing on his end. So we did that for like an hour. Then he came in person. We spent about another hour and a half on the boat before he made his offer. And now he is actually the person that we're doing the haul out and survey for. So hopefully Scott will see his dreams come true in the near future, and he can set sail and go on his cruising excursion.
I just got a text from Mike Kazak, and Mike is a past customer of mine. I sold him a, let's see, Sabre, I believe. He says, Wayne and company, thank you so much for hosting the virtual boat show and for providing us great information. Do you know if one of the water services have reduced in numbers? Towing, life-saving, just curious. So my understanding that Vessel Assist is still doing their job. Coast Guard is still doing their job. No, I don't think they've reduced. I mean, of course, the ferries have reduced. I know SF,
Prop.
SF Prop, they're not running. You know, the fishing boats are not going out. The charter boats are not going out. So any of the boating activities that involve a lot of people, that's not happening. But as far as Vessel Assist and Coast Guard and all that, yeah, they're still around. They're still doing their job. You know, they're still, you know, saving us. Down in San Diego, however, and hopefully we have some people from other places other than just the Bay Area on this virtual boat show. San Diego, they've closed the harbor down. So my understanding down there is everything's closed. I think the yards, some of the yards may be open, and if somebody knows better, if they could let me know, you know, that'd be nice. But yeah, San Diego's closed down. LA, I don't think is closed down. Seattle, I think they had stopped fishing there for a while, up in Puget Sound, but I think that's opened back up again. Not sure about Portland, although I guess we're just getting into spring, or actually getting into summer, so it's about boating season up there. But yeah, Mike, thanks for that that comment and question, and hope you're doing well. Mike's a professor up at Cal Maritime with another friend of mine, Keir Moorhead. Big shout out to those guys. They're training the new mariners, and Mike's an avid sailor. He is trying to wear that boat out and using it all the time. But yeah, thanks for that question, Mike. Any other questions? Anybody? Let's see. Yeah, we've got a few here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Jeff wants to move on to more boats. Okay, hey Jeff, at 11 o'clock, we're going to be doing, let's see, what's our
The Hunter
schedule?
49
Hunter 49 at 11
and the
and
Juneau 42.
Juneau 43 at 11:45. Yeah, that was answered. Let's see, Doug Vaughn, nice story. Let's see. Any yachts coming up? Jeff asked. Hey, Jeff, we and the rest of the audience, we are expecting that we're going to start seeing a lot more boats on the market. We're going to start a listing campaign starting after the end of the boat show. And keep your eye out. If you signed up for the boat show, you're on our mailing list. We hope we don't overload you with emails, but we're trying to get you guys all good information. So as the boats come up, the new listings, we'll be announcing it to you. We'll send it out by email. We'll also be posting on Facebook. I'm not sure how we're doing out on Facebook Live, if we've got anybody out there or not, but certainly, you know, we're broadcasting out there and we're posting on there. YouTube Live will be adding videos to YouTube. So if you follow us on YouTube, you'll get notified anytime we put new videos up. And we should be doing lots of new videos. If you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see, I don't know, we probably have 30 walkthroughs up there now. So just kind of go through there and go through those walkthroughs. But yeah, we expect to be getting a lot more boats. So keep your eye out for new listings. Actually, I know, Jeff, you probably wouldn't be interested, but we've got a Oyster 53, a 2002 Oyster 53 that we listed, and that's over in Sausalito. That'll be coming up for sale probably next week. So keep an eye out for that boat. We also just listed a little North Sea 27, again, a sailboat, cool little pocket sailor that will be on our site. But yeah, we'll be bringing in more boats, definitely. Let's see.
We just got a message from Kurt, who just arrived from San Diego. And to answer the question about the port, he said very few boats were traveling around. Last week after customs check-in, he had to go into Anchorage and then to a public dock. He was at the 10 minutes out of customs on both days and got questioned. Then he was left alone, monitored, and he was able to make his way back up here to the Bay Area.
All right, and that's Kurt Christopherson, and I sold him a boat 3 or 4 years ago, a nice Deerfoot 60 or 62. Helped him find that boat, bought it down in Oxnard. He brought it up here for a year, I think, and then he took off to Mexico. And he's been back and forth to Mexico a few times on that boat. He was ready to head off to the Marquesas. And with this COVID issue, French Polynesia has been shut down. They're not allowing anybody in. So he changed his plans. Instead of sailing off to French Polynesia and sitting out waiting for COVID orders to be lifted, he sailed back up this way, and he's hanging out here. Now, one of the things that he saw trying to find a slip was very difficult. A lot of the marinas are closed down to any new boaters. So you got to be a little careful if you're coming in from out of town or out of state. Finding a slip can be difficult. So make sure that you call around or give us a call. We can help out. We know a few of the marinas. I think Kurt ended up at Oakland Marina, Jack London Square. He ended up finding a slip there, but a lot of the other marinas are not allowing new people in. So, you know, you really got to be aware of what's going on with this COVID shutdown and how it's affecting different places. So yeah, thanks for the heads up, Kurt. Let's see. Do we have a video from Brandt we can roll?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna roll a video for you guys from Brandt Pemberton. He's our photographer and videographer and 3D guru. Oh, hey, there we go.
Good morning. My name is Brandt
Brandt,
Pemberton, and I own 39 Pixels. We are a photography and 3D tour video company based out of Lodi, California, serving the entire Central Valley and the Bay Area, providing primarily real estate clients with photography and other media such as virtual tours and videography, drone, all that stuff for their listings. You can probably assume that I'm pretty busy, and that assumption would be correct. So I had to do this screen recording as I'm pretty booked up today with appointments and couldn't join in live. So I hope you guys are enjoying the virtual boat show. I'm sure it's going well. I know Wayne and his team have been working really hard on it, so hope you guys are all enjoying that. Wayne actually and I have been working together for I think a little over 3 years now, and the interesting thing is, before the whole virus situation had even become a thing, Wayne's been using virtual tours on his boats, which I thought was really cool because he's going definitely against the grain as far as what other brokers have been providing for their listings. I mean, you can barely see professional photos, let alone 3D media, videos, all that stuff for listings. So it's been really fun working with Wayne. And it's been a learning experience all the way through. I mean, obviously boats are quite a bit different than a standalone house. So my original product when we first started to where it's at now has been transformed greatly just with the amount of work that I've been able to, the amount of projects I've been able to do with Wayne. So it's been fun getting to learn a new talent, new technique, and to also help an industry that I think has been so underdeveloped as far as the media that's been used to sell these products or these items, the boats. So I love being on this side of the curve as far as being the front runners, and I definitely think, well, without a doubt, Atomic Tuna is the front runner in the area, and has been for a while as far as the amount of time and effort they spend on capturing every single piece of the boat, which fast forward to today has now become essential, and in an environment where the proximity of people is, people don't want to get close to each other, and you might not even be able to go out and look at a boat in person with some of the shelter in place situation that's going on, or laws that are happening right now. So having virtual media has become not just an add-on piece or an accessory, but it's become a necessity. And the cool thing is that it's not anything different than what we've been doing all along. So the change or transition has been minimal, or if nothing at all. Actually, we're not doing anything different for the listings now because we've been doing this all along. So it's pretty cool to see something that a lot of people that have been able to sell boats or sell listings, or they think they've been doing a good enough job shooting it with their iPhone, have now are looking at I believe they're looking at Atomic Tuna and some of the listings that Wayne has and going, man, I wish I would have been doing this all along. So it's been kind of cool to see that that transition. So in combination, obviously you guys have seen some 3D tours, and if not, basically it's a 3D walkthrough, a 360 walkthrough of a boat, allowing you to go at your own pace and view every part of the boat that's important for you to make a decision. At least make a very majority of the decision on if it's something you want to purchase or not. Obviously, nothing beats being there in person, but the virtual technology, I think, has bridged that gap and at least gives you that initial meeting to know with the boat, a meeting with the boat to know that that's something that you actually want to pursue and go see in person. So you're not out just walking the docks and walking away with nothing that you like. At least you know when you walk down there that you're going to see something that has already won you over and it's already got your attention. So I think with the social distancing laws and that sort of thing, there's not going to be a lot of people just out wasting their time walking around. I think everyone's going to have an intention for why they're on the docks, and it's just a really cool, efficient way of being able to view a boat, whether you're in the area or out of the area. And so, if you're in New York City and you want to view a boat in Alameda, you can do that, and in combination with good quality photos and some other media such as videos and that sort of thing. The combination of all the media that we're generating is definitely something that before you go see that boat in person, you've pretty much seen every piece of it. So it's really, really cool. Technology's getting better. I think that going forward, this is going to become normal, and so it's been a lot of fun again working with Wayne and his team and kind of being on the forefront of this and doing this when people think that it wasn't necessary, and now seeing that it absolutely is necessary. So that's kind of my piece about virtual technology. It's not going away. It's becoming easier and easier to use. The quality's getting much, much better, and I'm sure Wayne's going to take you guys through a couple boats that we've done. And it's been my pleasure working with Atomic Tuna and Wayne and the whole team all along this journey. It's been fun. Got to see some beautiful sights of the city, and it's just strange to know that when you're out there, people pay to go see that, and I'm working and I still get to see it. So it's been a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it, and that's my message. I wanted to keep it short. I know you guys got a lot going on, and I hope that this helps explain a little bit about what we're doing and the technology and how it helps. And yeah, thanks guys. Hope you have a great rest of the virtual boat show, and take care.
Wrap up some of what Brandt just said.
Are you back on, Wayne?
All right, welcome back, you guys. Hope you enjoyed Brandt. He's really a great guy, and really at the forefront of this virtual tours, and he's got a lot of insight into what's going on the real estate side, and really helping us out also on the boating side. Does anybody have any questions? You want to shoot us any questions on what Brandt just talked about, or what we've been talking about with this COVID, or tell us how you're coping? Has anybody been out on their boats during this time? And what's that been like? Where's my...
Actually, we know there's quite a few people that have been out on the boats from our local marinas. A few of them have been taking advantage and going to Clipper Cove on the weekends, or up to Paradise, Richardson Bay, for extended weekends. There's a lady Linda, who you're going to hear from, her and her husband. They have been taking advantage of this time and taking their 425 out sailing. I think they've been out like 3 times in the last 3 weeks, I guess,
Yeah.
averaging once a week.
Yeah.
So they sail right by our office here, so it's always fun to see them go up and down the estuary. I know they're having a great time up there.
Yeah, that's great. Have you been out, Geli?
I haven't.
Why not?
Because I've been busy with this virtual boat show. So as soon as we finish up the show and have a nice wrap up, a couple of virtual parties of Latitude and Attitudes and Latitude 38, then we have the haul out and surveys. And so I'm hoping like the following week I'll have some time to take out my Grand Banks 42 out for a spin and have a delayed Mother's Day with my mom. She's an avid sailor as well. She lives on a Passport 40, so it's always fun to go out with her and my stepdad and just enjoy our passion of the water together. So looking forward to some downtime.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to everybody. That's coming up when? Next Sunday?
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday, yeah. And not a bad thing to do. Take your mom out for a little little boat ride. Take me with you. I'll be happy to go with you.
Okay. I think you're gonna learn some too about docking and tying up a cleat. So I could definitely use you as crew and some
Yeah,
help.
well, I am trainable, but I don't listen very well. So what have other people been doing? Let's see. We just got
Wayne, what's been going on with your boat?
with my boat.
You've been taking it out. I know you have the rib. You also have a Grand Banks 49.
Yeah, I'm kind of like the shoemaker's son with no shoes. I do have a boat. I do live on a boat, but we haven't had it out. We've just been so immersed in this virtual boat show and trying to get this thing up and running for you guys that I come home at night and I crash on it. I do have it, I do wash it down once in a while, but yeah, I haven't been out. And I do also have a 40-foot rib I run around in, and that also I haven't been out on. But yeah, I should heed my own advice, and maybe on Monday that's what I should do. Is go head out on the water. I know some of our salespeople have been out, right? Michelle and John.
Michelle was out a couple of weekends ago. I think John was out a few weeks ago, and he has a Nordic he was talking about bringing down this past week. So he looks for every opportunity to be out in the water as well.
Yeah. When I go home at night or, in the afternoon, if I'm around, I don't see too many boats out there, a lot less than there was, but I think it's time for all of us to, shake off that little spider webs and get out there and get that boat out there and go use the boat.
Well, one thing I know we'll hear from the liveaboards later on this afternoon, but they have been busy with their kayaking and paddle boarding. So you see quite a few liveaboards enjoying their water sports. They're still getting out there doing yoga, safe social distancing. There's a shoal just outside our channel there that one lady likes to go out to on a frequent basis in the morning. So it's a good time to get out, get some exercise. So if you don't have the time to take your boat out now, you definitely take advantage of those water toys that you have.
Yeah, it's certainly a good time for exercise. We've noticed that the air is cleaner, everything's fresher. There's places in around the world that there's no smog. LA's cleaned up. Mumbai is cleaned up. People haven't seen things in a long time because of all the pollution and that's all been cleared up. So good time to go out and exercise. Good time to go out on your paddle boards or kite surfing or things like that. But yeah, we should definitely get out there, especially if you're not working. Get outside and go use your boat. So. See, this afternoon we're going to have a couple of, actually a number of talks. We're going to do the history of Farallon and Catalina. Pat Garfield's going to be here talking about that. That's going to start at 12:30. We're going to do a session on listing your boat or buying a boat. And that's going to be really interesting. It's going to give you some insights into what we do and what we see on listing and buying boats. So that'll be a really fun session. That'll be from 2 to 3. We're going to have some of the Farallon and Atomic Tuna sales people here. And then I mentioned earlier, Joan Burley's going to be here to talk about financing boats in today's environment. And then the liveaboards that Geli had talked about. And then tying up and docking your boat. So we got a full afternoon for you guys. We got any questions? Anybody got any questions? Okay.
Want to queue up and get ready to head down to the 149?
Yeah, we could go down there a little early. Actually, let's go down and just kind of walk the dock so people can see some of the boats that we've got on the dock.
Mhm.
And then we'll queue up at 11 o'clock. We'll have a little a walkthrough video for you on the Hunter 49. And then we'll go down and do another live showing on that Hunter 49, and then over to the Juneau 43. And we're going to do that Juneau 43, the whole thing live. You guys give us feedback on what you're seeing and what you like and what you don't like. All right, let's go for a little walk down the docks.